Hello, New York Giants fans, and welcome to the Valentine's Views podcast here on YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. All right, the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine is in the books. I'm back from Indianapolis. A lot happened during the past week in terms of the New York Giants and the quarterback position. So let's discuss where it looks like this is headed for the New York Giants as we turn from the combine to free agency and get closer and closer to the NFL draft here at the end of April. Obviously, we know the Giants' pursuit of Matthew Stafford, which was very real, in according to a lot of the folks that I talked to, and obviously, we heard the reports that the Giants were, like the Raiders, willing to offer Stafford that 2-year deal close to $100 million. So the Giants wanted Stafford. Excuse me, didn't get Stafford. So the question is, where do they go from here? And obviously, we've heard a lot of talk about Aaron Rodgers in the past few days. Don't know if that's going anywhere. All I do know is the last information that I had was that the Giants were basically investigating every option that was available and had ruled nothing out, as of that time. So that would indicate, that Rodgers was on the list of possibilities. And as far as I know, that is as far as that has gone. So we'll see what happens there. But I've been thinking about this for a while. I've said all along that the Giants will find a veteran quarterback. They have only Tommy DeVito on the roster. The Giants will find a veteran quarterback and sign one or trade for one. They will also draft a quarterback at the end of April here, whether they do that in the first round, whether they do that a little bit later, depending on circumstances, depending on how the draft falls. So for me, that has been crystal clear all along. There will be a veteran quarterback. There will be a young quarterback. Joe Shane said the other day in Indianapolis that he wants a veteran quarterback, in the room to help mentor a younger quarterback. So that's the direction that this is heading. And we saw the Giants take the big swing for Matthew Stafford, which probably, had they been able to pull that off, would have taken the Giants out of the quarterback market in round one. For me, there is no other quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Justin Fields, Derek Carr, if the New Orleans Saints decide to move on from Carr, there is no other quarterback who could or should take the Giants out of the quarterback market in round one of the upcoming draft. The Giants sit at 3, and for me, they have to take a swing at a quarterback there. And honestly, I think they will. And what I've come to realize here, recently, is that what Joe Shane is trying to implement here, and Joe's under a lot of pressure. Joe Brandable under a lot of pressure to field a better product in 2025. Otherwise, they're going to lose their jobs. That's just how it is. That's just where it is. And I think that what Joe and Brian Dable are trying to implement really is the 2004 Eli Manning, Kurt Warner plan. They're going to get the best veteran quarterback that they can. Have the best veteran quarterback they can, whether that ends up being Wilson, whether that ends up being Rodgers, whether it ends up being Justin Fields. I don't know whether it ends up being Kirk Cousins. We'll see how all of that falls. They want the best veteran quarterback they can find, not just a placeholder, not just a Jacoby Brissett level, placeholder type quarterback. They want the best veteran quarterback they can bring to the Giants in 2025 at a reasonable price, of course. And then it's my belief that they'll take the biggest swing they possibly can at a quarterback in the draft. If you've been reading my mock drafts, if you've been reading my writing recently, I think that big swing is Cam Ward. People seem to believe at this point, there seems to be growing sentiment that Ward is clearly QB1 in this class. I don't know if the Tennessee Titans will decide that Ward is their guy, but I think the Giants are the perfect trade partner to move up to number one. They can give Tennessee that third pick. They can give Tennessee some other assets. They can leave Tennessee in a place where they could still draft Abdul Carter, the edge rusher from Penn State, or Travis Hunter, cornerback wide receiver out of Colorado. I think the Giants are the perfect trade partner the for the Titans. But the reality of it is, going back to the Manning Warner plan, I think that there is a lot of parallels here because what the Giants want is a mentor. And the question becomes, does Aaron Rodgers want to be that? Does Kirk Cousins want to be that? Does Russell Wilson want to be that? Will they understand the situation coming in? And I think the Giants need to be honest with whoever that veteran quarterback is and say, look, we still plan to draft a quarterback up high. This is a short-term arrangement. We need you to be willing to mentor whoever this young quarterback is that we bring in. We need you to be willing to help prepare this young quarterback. And we need you to understand that depending on how the season goes, there may come a point in time where we ask you to step aside. If you recall 2004, Kerry Collins was the Giants quarterback in 2003, led the Giants to a Super Bowl in 2001. And when it became clear that the Giants were going to get a quarterback in the 2024 NFL draft, Kerry Collins did not want to be that mentor. He wanted to go someplace and play. He didn't want to be that guy to basically prep somebody else to take his job. So the Giants moved on from Kerry Collins. They brought in Kurt Warner, a Super Bowl winner, but a guy who had had a couple of down years with the Rams prior to coming with the Giants, hadn't played a whole lot. They brought in Kurt Warner to be the bridge quarterback, to be the mentor. And of course, they made the big move in the draft with the big trade and with the Chargers for Eli Manning. And one of the reasons that worked was because of the way Kurt Warner handled it. The Giants benched Kurt Warner after 9 games. They were 5-4. They were on the periphery of the playoff race. Tom Coughlin decided at that point in time that it was more important for the long-term good of the franchise to get Eli Manning on the field than it was to chase a playoff spot. And obviously we know that in the long run that worked out well. Now, of course, Kurt Warner wanted to continue to play. Of course, he felt he was playing well enough to deserve the opportunity to play. But one of the reasons that all of that worked was because of the way Kurt Warner handled it. He told Tom Coughlin that if he was going to make this move, it had to be a permanent move, that he couldn't yank Eli Manning in and out of the lineup. I think there was one game during that 2003 season or 2004 season, excuse me, where Warner came in and in relief of Manning and played well. but Warner didn't want a quarterback controversy. He told Coughlin that he had to go back to Eli as the starter. It had to be that way for the long term good of Manning, for the long term good of the franchise. And for me, if you're going to go to one of these big name veteran quarterbacks, as I said, Rodgers, Wilson, Cousins, Carr, that quarterback has to understand the situation, has to understand what they're being asked to do, has to understand that a big part of why they're coming in or why they're being brought in is to help the young quarterback get ready. So I think that is a big part of the investigation for the Giants in figuring out who that guy is going to be, who has the right personality, who has the willingness to fill that role. And what I've found out a little bit about Aaron Rodgers, as much as you guys know that I'm not in favor of the Giants bringing in Rodgers. If you read my post at Big Blue View on Saturday, you understand that that is something that I think the Giants should not do, simply because of all of the things that come with Rodgers. One thing that I have found out is that Rodgers has been very willing over the years to mentor young quarterbacks, to work with Jordan Love in Green Bay, to work with Zach Wilson with the Jets. Aaron Rodgers was treated poorly by Brett Favre at the beginning of his career in Green Bay. And it's my understanding that Rodgers has always felt like he never wanted to do that to another young quarterback, so he has always been good to those young quarterbacks in terms of mentoring, sharing knowledge, helping them out. And and honestly, that would be a plus in, if you were making, pluses and minuses, pros and cons, whatever you want to call them, if you were making lists of reasons, you know, to sign in Aaron Rodgers, that would be a plus, on the in Rodgers column. But I'm still not recommending Rodgers as the answer for the Giants in 2025. But for me, the mentorship idea is most definitely something that the Giants have to consider. I believe when it comes to the draft, though, I still believe that the Giants' best play, no matter who they sign, no matter who they trade for, as the veteran quarterback, their best play is to try to talk the Tennessee Titans out of making the number one pick and try to go get it. That gives them their choice of quarterbacks. Most people think that would be Cam Ward. I don't think the Giants are in a situation where they can be passive, where they can wait, where they can hope. This is year 4, off season 4 for Joe Shane and Brian Daboll. They're under a lot of pressure. They can't afford what I would call an incremental move. They need to try the big swing, which is why I think they tried for Stafford. And I believe in everything that I've heard, and as I said, everything that I believe is that they will make the big swing. They will try to talk the Tennessee Titans into swapping places with them in the NFL draft. Uh, we'll see if they're successful in doing it, but I think the Giants are going to take the big swing, try to get Cam Ward, try to get the best mentor that they can in terms of a veteran. As I said, it has all the trappings of the Manning Warner plan, and Giants fans can only dream, can only hope, can only pray that it ends up being as successful as that was, way back in 2004 and the following years. All right, Giants fans, I think that's enough for today. Thank you, as always, for watching. Please stay safe out there. Take care of each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.